Hello YouTube and welcome back to Let's Play Bloons Wiki. In this episode, let's see, gotta collect some money whenever you log back in after a long amount of time. And so yeah, there's these camping monkeys, I guess. Someone made a comment about the camping monkeys being gone, but they're still here, I suppose, unless they're talking about something else. But anyway, so I've got the Glaive Ricochet, it's all done researching and all that. I've still got some money left over. Or not really left over, I just got some money. But alright, so start that upgrade, which won't really happen for a while. And this level, I like this level, kind of. Although, this is probably going to be one of those stages where a lot of people in the comments are going to be like, what? You have terrible tire placement, why would you place it there? And I think it's when I place it... let's see. I'm going to place it here. Again, I don't think that's the best tire placement ever, or anything, but it suits my needs for my plans, because right here, that's a pretty good angle for the arc to get through. And of course here, there's that one black balloon that just randomly appears. This is, like I said, one of the times when the randomness of the wave really starts showing itself, because the black balloon is actually technically the second highest tier balloon on this track, and it just appeared one random one on the first wave. Like, what's that up? Or what's that about? Or what's up with that? Anyways, it's just random how that happens sometimes, but like I said, this is actually a decent area or place to place the boomerang thrower, just because of that arc right there. But because it's an oval and not a circle, the arc that it has down here at the bottom is a little bit different. And again, there's just that one random white balloon that just appears. It's ridiculous. But alright, so I still gotta save up some more money. If you obviously, when your monkey city gets to a higher rank, you start off with more starting cash, and you can actually get a Glaive Ricochet pretty early on in the waves, like the first or second wave. You can start off with a Spactory and a Glaive Ricochet, but obviously because I'm still near the beginning, I have to wait a few more rounds until I get the Glaive Ricochet, so it won't be quite as special as I was hoping it would be. But let's see, because it's still pretty good. I do really like this stage because of the Glaive Ricochet and the Spactory combo, because the Spactory helps with any camo balloons or just any that leak past this one boomerang thrower. Because you might think I should build other boomerang throwers, because that would be helpful and good and stuff, and probably a good idea. But what I'm going to do, obviously, is save up for the Glaive Ricochet, because I really want to show off how awesome the Glaive Ricochet is, especially on this track. And I'm not really sure if it is especially on this track, I just especially remember it being awesome on this track, but just because it looks really cool. To me, once you get the Glaive Ricochet, and come on, just one more wave, one more round, so I'll still be able to show it off for like 5 more rounds, because I'm already on round 6 of 12, but come on, am I going to be able to do it at the end of this wave, or come on, there we go. So now, again, I don't know if it was nerfed on Bloons Wiki City to only be able to pop through 40 balloons, but apparently this wasn't 40 balloons, so I just love how it's able to just pierce right through and just like demolish those long streams of balloons. But I do think it was a little bit nerfed to limit how many balloons it can actually pop through, but obviously it's still pretty awesome. It really puts a smile on my face when I see this long stream of balloons get destroyed by the Glaive Ricochet. And I kind of imagined it a little bit cooler than I guess it was, but when you get into the higher tier balloons, and if there's like a long stream of pinks or something, just to see each layer get shredded off one by one is pretty cool. And again, I always reference the sandbox specials that I used to do on my channel, on this channel, I guess, that I don't really do anymore, that I always say I really want to do again, and I never do. Anyways, there's just these things where I tested out the boomerang thrower and its Glaive Ricochet effect. I think that was the first sandbox special I did, where I was just showing you that, at least on Bloons Tower Defense 5 Deluxe Edition, the Glaive Ricochet can ricochet off an infinite number of balloons, because I was on the path, the Park Path stage, I think it's called Park Path, yeah, that just has this long circular kind of, not necessarily spirally shape, but circular-ish shape, I guess, and just seeing the whole line of balloons just get destroyed by the Glaive Ricochet was so cool to see. But anyways, if you want, I'll put a link in the description. Just comment if you want me to put a link, or you just look at my channel. But anyways, so back to these Glaive Ricochet that just grind through all these balloons that, even if it is nerfed to only 40 balloons, you gotta admit, that still looks pretty cool. And that's why I placed the balloons here, because I don't want them to attack on this side, because then that's a smaller area for them to ricochet off of. So having them more attack this side will go around on that little S-shaped curve, kind of, to help just make it look awesome. Which, again, I just can't get over how awesome that looks. But obviously, because I'm not that high of a city level, it does take a little while for me to gain enough money for that, to actually use the Glaive Ricochet, so there's that kind of downside. But, oh well, it's still pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. So, you know what? This is probably going to be a bad idea, but I'm going to not use this factory at first, at least. I'm going to try to get a Glaive Ricochet sooner, because at this point, I'm able to hit the track on 2 different parts, and of course, oh well, I'm going to leak a couple lives because, 1, I didn't have this factory, and 2, because of those random higher tiered balloons appearing on the first wave, which, even still, just a pink balloon is too much for 1 boomerang thrower, which, oh well, I guess I'll use this factory, just to get rid of those few that, of course, I leak 1 balloon, but, I would normally, if this was like Bloons Wiki Deluxe Edition or something, I would use a road spike to capture, or I was going to say capture, but just catch all those leaked balloons. But in Bloons Wiki City, the road spikes and exploding pineapples work the same way as the towers, where you need to actually buy the building in order to make the Glaive Ricochet, which is kind of lame, but it makes sense. And it's not like if you buy 1 building, you get 1 road spike pile per round. It's per game, so for the 11 rounds you get 1 road spike pile if you buy 1 building, which is kind of why I don't really use it very often, because I feel like it's not really worth it. 1, the road spikes in general aren't really worth it, because no matter what, you're always going to be losing a little bit of money, depending on, or the only factor or variable is how much of your money you're losing when you use a Glaive, or not a Glaive Ricochet, when you use a road spike, because if they have 10 spikes on the ground, and it costs 25 cash, then you're spending 25 to potentially get back 10, which means you're at most, or at least, losing 15 cash per road spike, and at most losing all 25 if they never get used. So it can be a little bit tricky to try to use those effectively, I guess, but obviously if you can use it effectively, then good for you. Good job. I can't. So that's why I don't really use road spikes. But Glaive Ricochet is very awesome because it's, well, it's awesome. And if you saw the Bloons Tower Defense 5 Deluxe Edition episode today, then you'll see why I love Glaive Ricochet so much. Because I probably could have taken down that ZOMG if I had just built more Glaive Ricochet, which I probably should have tested. And I still technically could test that. But, oh well. Maybe another time. So, now with the Glaive Ricochet, we'll just destroy all these. And again, I don't know exactly how they deal with the regrow, what's it called? Like a regrow farming, I guess you could say, where when you regrow, or when you pop 1 layer of a regrow balloon and then it grows back, if you pop that layer again, whether or not it'll give you money. I don't remember what the status on that was, like whether or not they don't let you get money, or if they do let you get money from that, because especially with a Glaive Ricochet, if you can get in the right circumstance, I think it's pretty hard to plan that circumstance, but if you get in a way where you can like attack one of the beginning balloons with a Glaive Ricochet and then just shred off like 15 to 20 layers off of the regrow balloons, and then they regrow that layer, and then you throw another Glaive Ricochet and shred off another 20, then you can kind of farm that money a little bit. But obviously there is a pretty small ceiling on that, or a pretty short ceiling on that farming technique, because obviously the balloons move pretty fast and you can't really farm them for very long, and it only gives you like 40 or 50 extra cash. So unless there's a better way to do it, which I'm sure there is, but with as far as Glaive Ricochet, that wasn't a very good example of how you could farm some cash. But I'm putting this this boomerang thrower which will become a Glaive Ricochet, hopefully, by the end of this round. Yeah, not too late, I guess, or not too far away. I don't know what I'm saying. But I'm putting it over here near the end of the track because, like on the last level I was on, I wanted more room for the stream to actually be on the field for my Bloons, or for my Glaive to ricochet off of. But obviously that wasn't a very good. It wasn't a very good track, or I didn't do too good on that track because this one. Because let's see. Yeah, I'll put it here. I didn't do too good because I didn't have this factory at first, which obviously, as you can see, I am placing now. And then I'll upgrade this boomerang thrower to a Glaive Ricochet so that it can at least ricochet off this side, this little curve. But then also, if they do somehow get past this factory and it comes down on this side, then I'll have another chance to use my Glaive Ricochet on it. So there's that. And another, not fault, but another weakness of the Glaive thrower, or the Glaive Ricochet boomerang thrower type tower, is unless you have the Bionic Boomer, it's a little bit weak to fast balloons, like the pink balloons, which is really the fastest I can think of. I think Ceramic or Rainbow might be as fast as the pink balloon, but I'm not sure. But the fast balloons tend to get past the boomerang thrower, especially when they're coming from the right going to the left. Just because the boomerang thrower throws the boomerang, or the Glaive, from its right side, kind of arcing to the left. If the boomerang thrower is coming in, then it'll sort of miss the pink balloon if it's going too fast. Yeah, like that. Okay, on that one I did get the pink balloon. Maybe it is dependent on how the track is set up, but occasionally, if you did notice in the last track, the pink balloons just go right by the boomerang thrower. So that's one of the problems with the Glaive Ricochet. But if you have enough Glaive Ricochet in the right places, then it really doesn't make as much of a difference. Or if you just have a factory to catch all the pinks that get by, then that's fine. But obviously, if that was your entire defense for all of the fast balloons, then you would need a pretty good factory, because the pink balloons are also kind of a weakness of this factory, so I guess that really wasn't a good idea, but just because this factory does take a little bit of time to actually lay down some road spikes, oh man, like that, if the pink balloons come in at the beginning of the track, or beginning of the round, then that can be pretty bad because this factory wouldn't have enough time to lay down some spikes, or some road spikes, for pink balloons to actually get stuck on, or popped by. So that is one of the problems, which is why I always place it near the end of the track, so that it has more time to lay down spikes before the balloons actually reach it. But on this track in particular, it's a little bit harder to do that because of the way that the track kind of wraps around itself. So the very end of the track is right over here, but I can't really place any factories near here. The closest to the end of the track would be right where my boomerang thrower is, but that's also in the way of further up on the track. So that's why I'm placing it up here, because it's the farthest back without any overlap, as far as I can tell. So that's why I placed it over here. But now that I have the Glaive Ricochet, all should be right in the world and stuff, so yay. But I'm actually not going to go for another Glaive Ricochet on this track, just because of the way that it's set up. I'm going to go for another factory, or not another factory, I don't have any other factories, but I'm just going to try upgrading this factory to make it a little bit more efficient, just in case, because obviously there was that one round where the pink balloons just kind of swarmed past the factory, which is pretty bad, but obviously I survived, so that's good. But it did get rid of my no lives lost bonus, which is always like it'd be nice to have no lives lost bonus, but then on the other hand, it's like I kind of really want balloon stones, and I'm obviously not going to spend any real money on it, so it would be great if I had some balloon stones to get from the no lives lost. And that's kind of another problem. It's not really a problem, it's just a general, not pet peeve, but I guess sort of a downside that it makes sense, but you can't really retry levels. I mean, if you lose, then you can do it again, but if you beat it, then that's it. Like, you can't just re-challenge a level or something to get more experience or city cash or balloon stones. Like, if you don't get no lives lost, you can't like retry it for a no lives lost challenge or something, which obviously makes sense for the game to not have that. It's not like they need that feature or anything, but it just would have been nice to be able to retry it or something. So yeah, there's that, but it's obviously still a good game, in my opinion. I'd still say it's awesome and is worth the time that we're waiting to play it, because it's in beta and all that. And I feel like because we as in all the beta testers are playing this game, obviously when it's still in beta, it almost feels like it's taunting us, I guess, or like it's taking longer than usual to come out. But I'm pretty sure even if there was all this beta and it was even longer, but no one knew about the beta, then it wouldn't seem as long, or it wouldn't seem as bad. So let's continue on to the next stage, and ooh, this one. It even has and I guess oh yeah, and I can't even use road spikes or factories. So dang it, I still don't have enough. But I'm sure this is not a very good place for the boomerang thrower, but I'm using it here just because it's near the end of the track, so the Glaive Ricochet should look a bit cooler. But here I don't actually need road spikes or this factory because there's no camo balloons yet, so I don't really need to worry about this factory. But it's always nice to have as a backup, as a little safety net, in case any other higher tiered balloons come through. But because the boomerang thrower has the green check mark in the desert terrain, everything costs a little bit less, so the Glaive Ricochet will hopefully, I'll hopefully have enough for it pretty soon, by the end of the next round, hopefully, because now I'll have 1168, which is just a little under 100, or a little more than 100 less than, what I need. So just a little bit more money, and now there's some green balloons coming in, which will cause me a bit of trouble, but come on, almost there. There we go. And now that I have Glaive Ricochet, huzzah! My only weakness is pink balloons, which will probably come in pretty soon, so I should actually worry about that. And I should probably try to get another Glaive Ricochet, just because having two is better than one, especially for Glaive Ricochet. So yeah, Glaive Ricochet are always better in groups or in swarms, if you can afford having a swarm of boomerang throwers or Glaive Ricochet. By swarm I just mean like more than 4. No real requirements, I guess, for a swarm or just a group or a cluster or a team or army. All of those words just mean a bunch of one thing, or a bunch of similar things, or a bunch of things that aren't necessarily similar but are fighting for a common cause, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying, but alright, so this Glaive Ricochet is actually going to take a few more rounds to get, just because when I started off I had like 1500 or 1500, which is what this Glaive Ricochet actually costs, but then because of the green check mark it costs less. And no, I leaked a balloon, just 1 life. Oh well, that's fine. I don't actually need the balloon stones, even though I made that big deal about it last episode, or last track. But let's see. What shall I do? And I almost started singing "What do you do with the drunken sailor?" But no, we're in the desert. No, that just it does not apply. But anyways, let's see. Almost have enough. Oh yeah, and I was talking about how I started off with 1500, so that helped get the boomerang thrower to the Glaive Ricochet sooner. And then when I was starting off with basically 0 money to build this boomerang thrower, that's obviously why it's taking much longer in order to get the Glaive Ricochet. And random comment, but just something that's been on my mind, I guess, lately, is the show Gravity Falls. Do any of you watch that show? Or did you watch it when the season was on? Because I really love that show. And I remember, like, last year, or the year before, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but my brother was just like, oh, hey, you should check out this show. And I was like, alright, fine. And then I watched, like, 1 or 2 episodes with him, and I was totally hooked. The show Gravity Falls. It's an amazing show. You should definitely watch, and not only because of the show is funny. It's a cartoon show on Disney Channel, which whenever I say it's on Disney Channel, it feels like, oh, it's just one of those Disney shows. Like, no, it's like way better than Disney. In my personal opinion, because I'm, you know, not exactly Disney's target audience, it feels like a lot of the Disney shows are really dumb, but again, I just have to remind myself that I'm not their target audience. But for Gravity Falls, it's like, no, this show is awesome. It doesn't matter who the target audience is. Like, everyone is the target audience because it has really good, funny, smart humor. It has the bit of action, I guess, and mystery, and I guess technically a bit of romance, but that's not really the main focus, I suppose. But it's just a really awesome show all around, and I definitely recommend you check it out. And on top of how awesome it is just on the surface, there is so much that, oh man, this track, I don't think I've ever actually played on this track. It looks like a zoomed in version of that other track that I usually play on. But anyways, what was I saying? Alright, Gravity Falls is such a good show that I can't even begin to, I mean, I already did kind of technically begin to describe how awesome it is, but this track in particular, I should keep talking about balloons, I'm not going to do the Glaive Ricochet, just because it's kind of hard for me to put a Glaive Ricochet here, because there's just this long path right at the start, and then these two curved paths, so I'm going to try to focus all of my defenses, just building a bunch of different towers unupgraded, in order to just sort of overpower these balloons with just sheer popping power. Just because a Glaive Ricochet might not be the best on this stage, or maybe it would be good, but I just don't know. But anyways, as I was talking about Gravity Falls, not only is it just super awesome on the surface, but there's so many, like, not necessarily subliminal messages, but just like little hints in the background that if you pay close enough attention, you're like, oh hey, that relates to that other one little random thing I saw in that other episode. And yesterday I was just watching so many, like, not necessarily conspiracy theories, but just like hidden message theories and deep analysis of all the shows, or all the episodes, and all these little secret things that just totally blew my mind. Like at first, and at some points during the videos, I was thinking, okay, you're just overthinking that. That doesn't actually mean what you think it means. But then there's other times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. That's so awesome, and that makes so much more sense than my current theory. And the show's awesome. Like, it's just an amazing show, and I definitely recommend you watch it. You can probably find it online, like on Disney Channel or something if you've missed it, or it might be on Netflix. I don't know. But I'm sure you can find a way to watch it. And Season 2 is supposed to come out sometime in 2014, so sometime next year, which is kind of lame that we have to wait so long, but I'm glad that it at least has a second season that we can wait for, so that's nice. But, so yeah, let me know what you think about the show in the comments. Don't give any spoilers, I guess. It's kind of hard to give spoilers on that show just because of the way that it is set up, but it also, I guess, is kind of easy to give spoilers, because I do remember I did see this one picture that I suppose was like a leaked picture of something that was kind of a big important spoiler that I kind of assumed anyways, but then seeing the picture I was like, oh well, now I know 100% for sure. But anyways, I'm not making any sense, I'm not even talking about Bloons. But I mean, there's not really much to talk about. I'm just lining up a bunch of different towers on this path to help out, just like I said, just pure attack power. No, I still leaked some. Oh well, I can't beat any of these without no lives lost. But anyways, Gravity Falls, again, just such an awesome show, and definitely they did not pay me or anything to say that. I just genuinely think that's an awesome show. Because obviously this video has nothing to do with Gravity Falls, and I have so few subscribers, it's not like they would ever reach out to me. But anyways, yeah, so Gravity Falls, awesome show, you should watch it. And Bloons Monkey City, try not to get too upset about how long it takes for the beta to finish. And I just, of course, leaked a couple more lives, which is, nah, oh well. Let's use some snipers. I should probably be saving up for a Dartling gun, that'd be nice. That'd probably be a lot more helpful than all these other towers that I'm still buying. I should upgrade this tower. What am I doing? Oh man, oh well. But yeah, again, I'm just gonna say it again, Gravity Falls, awesome show. You should definitely watch it. It's just that awesome. And wow, that was a lot of lives. And oh, are you serious? Oh well. And the episode's already getting kind of long, so that's it for this episode. Watch Gravity Falls if you haven't. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.